A new study finds drinking sweetened beverages may increase your risk of depression, while drinking coffee may lower it. Researchers looked at more than 260,000 people and evaluated their consumption of soda, tea, fruit punch, and coffee for a year. 10 years later, they asked the participants if they'd been diagnosed with depression during that time. People who drank more than 4 cans of soda a day were 30% more likely to develop depression than those who didn't drink any, and the risk was even higher for diet soda.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into something you probably never connected before: your favorite sugar drinks and your mental health. Yeah, I'm talking about sodas, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and even fruit juices. Could we sweet sips be messing with our mood? Could that afternoon soda be silently pulling you down? Well, a new study has revealed something shocking. Sugary drinks might have a strong connection with depression, especially when consumed regularly. So let's break it down.
Energy drinks are known to pack a major punch.
Keep me awake, mostly keeps me from getting a headache, just makes me does not feel like
These popular drinks come big and small, grab and go ready, supercharged with caffeine. According to the National Institutes of Health, they are the fastest growing beverage in the soft drink industry and are known to lure young adults.
For about 4 or 5 years, nearly since 2010, since I joined the military.
Marketed as high-energy, on-the-go performance-enhancing beverages, studies have shown young adults and college athletes, mostly male, have become the biggest consumers.
On average, when I found out I can handle them without getting sick, I said I was like, we're talking like probably about 10 easily.
And yes, you heard him right. Charles Robinson admits he was drinking 10 energy drinks a day.
It became like kind of an addiction.
An addiction he quickly realized would lead to some health challenges.
I had to have a bone reconstruction surgery. I was born with a deformity.
He says the surgery was in January, and his physician became increasingly concerned considering his healing process was slow-moving.
Let's start with the basics. What are the sugary drinks? They are the drinks with added sugars, not the natural sugars found in fruits. They are added in glucose, fructose, sucrose, all the ingredients that give you sweet taste but come with zero nutrition value.
Coca-Cola is the world's biggest beverage maker thanks to its soft drinks. It is a household name, but over the past few years it has moved away from carbonation and towards cow milk. This is Fairlife. Some of you may have heard of this brand. It launched in 2012 as a joint venture between Coca-Cola and
Apart from this, these drinks can give you energy spikes and then crash. But the question is, can these cycles affect your mental state?
dairy wholesaler Select Milk Producers. In 2020, Coca-Cola fully acquired the company for an initial $980 million. And now, the soda giant is looking at the total payment for the acquisition to be more than $6 billion. That's the hefty sum. This is one of Coca-Cola's priciest acquisitions ever. So what's behind the company's $7 billion bet? Why is it diversifying into the dairy market? It is mainly thanks to a more health-conscious consumer base. Study after study shows that sugary drinks like soda are bad for people's health. They increase the risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular conditions, kidney and liver disease, among other problems. Now, consumers are increasingly making healthier choices, and there is a global policy push to curb the consumption of sodas, including higher taxes on sugary drinks. Plus, there is a push for
So, why do we crave sugary drinks? It's all about the brain. When you consume sugars, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good hormone. That's why it's feel comforting. But here's the problem: over time, your brain needs more sugar to get the same dopamine hit. This is how craving forms.
wellness. It is a $1.8 trillion global market, and it includes everything from cold plunges to celery juice. So companies essentially manufacturing sugary drinks are moving towards other avenues like coffee, tea, or milk and giving it a wellness twist. Coca-Cola has raked in big profits with its milky move and sprinked it with wellness because Fairlife draws out lactose and sugar from the milk but doubles the protein. Protein shakes are a $6 billion market, and Coca-Cola is pushing into it. So despite being about 3 times the price of traditional milk in 2022, Fairlife sales surpassed $1 billion. That's 1,000% increase from $90 million in 2015. And now, it is Coca-Cola's fastest.
This cycle is very similar to gut addictions. You feel low, you crave sugars, you get high and then crash and even feel lower. That's when the emotional roller coaster begins. Now, let's get into the studies. Researchers from a top universities analyzed the habit of thousands of participants. They found that people who consumed sugar drinks daily with a higher risk of depression, especially women and teenagers.
People who are craving sugar can satisfy that sugar craving by giving the neurons, so to speak, what they actually want, which are amino acids and essential fatty acids. That includes EPA, but also things like glutamine, an amino acid that can really reduce sugar cravings if you take a teaspoon of that or even a tablespoon of that a few times a day. You have to ease into that a little bit because some people can get a little bit of GI distress from too much glutamine, but glutamine has also been shown to improve symptoms of leaky gut. It's a powerful amino acid, and yes, you can also get it from food. Things like cottage cheese are high in glutamine, etc.
In addition to this, the numbers were clear. The more sugar drinks someone consumed, the higher risk of showing symptoms like anxiety, sadness, and even hopelessness. And no diet sodas were not any better. In some cases, they were worse due to artificial sweeteners.
What you drink to quench your thirst or boost your energy level may impact your risk for stroke, according to two new studies. They first looked at the impact of fruity and fizzy drinks on tens of thousands of people in 27 countries. Frequent consumption of fizzy drinks, both sugar-sweetened and artificially sweetened, was linked to 22% higher odds of stroke, while fruit juice drinks were linked to 37% higher odds caused by intracranial bleeding, especially among women. The research.
Now, let's talk about science. How exactly does sugar affect into your mental health? First, blood sugar spikes and crashes. Sugar spikes into your blood glucose. You feel energetic, but soon insulin kicks in and you crash, leading to fatigue and mood swings. Second, inflammations. High sugar dyes increase inflammations in the bodies and your brains, which is linked to the depression. Third is gut-brain axis. Sugar affects your gut microbiome, and believe it or not, your brain and gut talks all the time. And unhealthy gut is equal to low serotonin is equal to low mood.
The United Kingdom found that those who drink energy and other caffeinated beverages before the age of 16 were at a higher risk of ADHD, depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Researchers there are calling on governments to ban the sale of energy drinks to children under the age of 16.
Moreover, this is not just about the science, real people are affected. Actually, friends, I used to drink 2 sodas a day and felt literally constantly low. Cutting down sugars actually helped my anxiety level.
Those of you that are trying to reduce sugar intake and you want to do that through an understanding of how these neural circuits work, and you want to short circuit some of the dopamine release that's caused by ingesting sugary foods, it can be advantageous to ingest sweet foods either alone or in combination with foods that reduce glycemic index or reduce glycemic load. So that might mean making different food choices. So paying attention to sweet tasting foods that can satisfy sugar cravings but do not have as steep, or I should say do not cause as steep a rise in blood sugar. Or it could mean consuming other foods along with sweet foods in order to reduce the glycemic index and thereby slow or blunt.
So now friends, I will give you tips regarding how do you break free from sugary drinks. First is replace with healthier option. Second is read the labels. Third is go gradual. Another one is eat more protein and fiber. Last one is get enough sleep.
In the remaining brain matter, you would find proteins and amino acids, traces of micronutrients, and glucose. The brain is, of course, more than just the sum of its nutritional parts, but each component does have a distinct impact on functioning, development, mood, and energy. So that post-lunch apathy or late-night alertness you might be feeling, well, that could simply be the effects of food on your brain. Of the
Furthermore, sugar drinks are marketing as an energy booster, but the real cost might be your mood, motivation, and mental well-being.
powerful micronutrients like the vitamins B6, B12, and folic acid, our brains would be susceptible to brain disease and mental decline. Trace amounts of the minerals iron, copper, zinc, and sodium are also fundamental to brain health and early cognitive development. In order for the brain to efficiently transform and synthesize these valuable nutrients, it needs fuel, and lots of it. While the human brain only makes up about 2% of our body weight, it uses up to 20% of our energy resources. Most of this energy comes from carbohydrates that our body digests into glucose or blood sugar. The frontal lobes are so sensitive to drops in glucose, in fact, that a change in mental function is one of the primary signals of nutrient deficiency. Assuming that we are getting glucose regularly, how does the specific type of carbohydrates we eat affect our brains? Carbs come in 3 forms: starch, sugar, and fiber. While on most nutrition labels, they are all lumped into one total carb count, the ratio of the sugar and fiber subgroups to the whole amount affect how the body and brain respond. A high glycemic food, like white bread, causes a rapid release of glucose into the blood, and then comes the dip. Blood sugar shoots down, and with it, our attention span and mood. On the other hand, oats, grains, and legumes have slower glucose release, enabling a steadier level of attentiveness. For sustained brain power, opting for a varied diet of nutrient-rich foods is critical. When it comes to what you bite, chew, and swallow, your choices have a direct and long-lasting effect on the most powerful organ in your body.
So the next time you crave a soda, pause and ask yourself, is this really going to make feel better and worse? You deserve to feel better good naturally, and that start with what you fuel your body with. If you found this helpful, so don't forget to hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into health and wellness. Let's stay mentally strong, one sip at a time.